My name is Chris, and I'm 22 years old.
My name is Barbara Petrago, and I am 22 years old.
My name is Andrew Grossman, and I'm 23 years old.
My name is Mara. I'm 23 years old.
My name is Renzo Valenzuela. I'm 23 years old.
Name is Daniel Aranda. I'm 24 years old.
I've been studying photography for about maybe 4 or 5 years.
I've been doing photography for about 6 years.
Photography, I've been doing active for, say, 5 years.
I have been doing photography since I was 18 years old.
I started doing photography, I want to say, about 2.5 years ago.
I think I got into it in high school, and it just went on from there. And it was more of just like taking pictures of my friends and stuff like that. And then I just had a knack for it and really grew a passion for it.
At first I took a class in high school, which others have said, but once I took a course in college under Sean Hemmerly, then it just really became, something important to me, a necessity.
How was it a necessity?
Once I took the class and I started doing some of the assignments, it just became, I don't want to say therapeutic, but it was in a way therapeutic because I was doing something I really enjoyed doing, expressing myself with visuals, with visual art.
How would you describe your style?
I've always enjoyed doing abstract work. What I'd say works for me is making a project that's both tedious, but effortless. A lot of the stuff I do looks simple, but at the same time, I try to make it as beautiful as I can, no matter what subject I'm shooting. Maybe a parking lot, maybe just a wall, maybe, already a beautiful church, But elegance and effortless and simple is what I strive for, and that's what I hope you find in my photos. First, I try to find an idea of what my project is going to be about. After that, my partner and I, we start looking for locations of places to start shooting. Then after we have a couple photos ready, we look at the photos, we see what works, what doesn't work, and then we make what works into a nice foundation. We keep what's healthy, we keep what works, we keep what helps each other out, and then we use that as the foundation, then we just keep running with it. When I make a video with music in it, I first have a song in my head, and then once I start listening to the song, I'll put on my headphones and I start listening to the song, then I'll have a vision, not like a vision, but I'll have an idea of what kind of a music video will look great with that song.
It's left me blind.
And then I try to imitate what my idea was in the cheapest and best way possible. For example, if I have an idea of a music video that's all red or something in that nature, then I'll probably go out and buy a red light bulb or something like that to just have the whole view of it being red. And then from then on, I just play the song and I just embrace.
Do you also get inspired by music?
I would say that music does inspire me with art, with any just with any other type of art, because music is also a form of expression, and I think that's what should inspire anybody for anything. Any form of expression should inspire you.
Who's your favorite artist and why?
Off the top of my head, I would say the Beckers, And then Hiroshi Tsujimoto would be my favorite. The Beckers because their style of work, being typology, is I wouldn't say a basis, but a good foundation and a good learning tool for what my projects have become. If I'm thinking of an idea, I'll probably look onto their work and see just a reference and a small inspiration to see where my work could go. And then with Tsujimoto, you know, just because his ideas are just so unbelievable and his execution is just also unbelievable and amazing. It's just I use him as just as a goal line. Like if I want my work to be amazing, it has to be that amazing. I mean, I know it can never be that amazing, but it's definitely why he's one of my favorites.
What's your favorite piece of artwork from said artists?
From the Beckers, my favorite art piece of theirs has to be Industrial Facades. The name alone is just interesting. And then their work is just, it's unbelievable how many hours you think is put into to doing such a simple design. Because when you see the work, it's a bunch of industrial warehouses and such, and you just think, wow, this looks really simple and elegant, but it takes a lot of hours, it takes a lot of days and moments and pictures and it's just unbelievable how much effort it puts to make it look that simple and that elegant. Like I said before, I took a class with Sean Hemmerly and all these artists that I've talked about and all these artists that I haven't talked about but I admire. He has shown me their work. He has educated me in their work. He has taught me the lessons of their work, and I'm grateful to him, and I'm grateful to the other artists that have made beautiful work and inspirational work, and I just hope to keep, you know, shooting and educating others on their work. My favorite art piece of mine has to be Parking Lots, because it was really like an introduction of where my style is gonna go from here, because before that I was just, you know, trying to figure out what my style is. So my projects were good, like mediocre good, but they weren't really, you know, strong like they are now. Like right now, you know, they're strong pieces of work, not amazing pieces of work, but they're really strong. So Parking Lots was really a good introduction and a good starting point of where I was going to go from there. So I'm grateful for the project. I'm grateful for, you know, the work I've put into it, and I'm happy with it.
What do you think about Instagram?
I've seen a lot of photographers on Instagram, and I just look at their work and I see just amazing pieces of work, and I'm just surprised that you know, they're not more recognized or out there making enough money to continue their work. I also wish I could be one of those artists that you know, you look on Instagram and you see their amazing body of work, and hopefully one day maybe I will be. But for now, you know, I'm just happy being a fan, and I'm just happy going to a person's page and just liking an amazing photo.
I want to ask you, do you think Instagram is a good thing or a bad thing for the artists? Or mixed feelings?
Sometimes I think it's bad because an artist doesn't really get to showcase their work in an environment that they want to, as an exhibit. Like, you know, when you go to exhibit, the artist, you know, set up the exhibit in the way they wanted to present their work. You know, in those moments, then I think, you know, Instagram is, you know, not that great. But in other moments where just in a few seconds, some person across the world can see your photo and like your photo, and in that moment, I think, wow, it's, you know, amazing.
So it's mixed feelings.
Definitely mixed feelings. in 10, 15 years, I hope I'm still happy with shooting pictures and being a photographer. I hope that I can still be expressing myself with photography. I hope that I can, get a phone call and there'll be a job to take some more pictures. I hope I'm, not well known, but known enough to have somebody compliment me on my work when I go to an exhibit or something. I just want to keep pushing forward and making more.
I started photography in 11th grade, but I wasn't into photography in 11th grade.
What were you into?
I was into editing because a year before I had an art class. I was more interested into drawing. And we had this project in where we had to take an art piece and scan it and start editing. And I really liked that. And from there, I was wondering, you can probably edit photos or make collages or something. Because I remember Googling stuff with Photoshop. And all these images of just people just creating really awesome things, like sci-fi things with just like simple pictures. I'm like, I want to do that. And to be able to do that, you have to actually take pictures. And so the year after, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into photography. And that was just a whole other world. Completely made me forget about editing and just focus on photography. It was like another eye, you could say, into viewing the world.
How would you describe your style?
Well, I would say my style is pretty dark and depressing, or just plain out creepy. And I know that other people find it creepy because sometimes my friends tag me in creepy photos and like that is so you. And yeah, I guess you're right. I'm into dark stuff. Why? I don't know why. Maybe because it's just really weird and people don't really see themselves looking at it. It just looks like a no-no, like taboo. And I really like tapping into that.
How long have you been drawing?
I've been drawing since I was real drawing, or just, starting to drawing, or...
Just like the photography when you started.
Oh. Well, from what my mom has told me, I've been drawing since I was an infant. I go just grab the pen or a pencil and just start doing something with it, either on my body or on paper, anywhere. So it's been with me for a really long time. Plus, I think my mom also knows how to draw and paint, so I think maybe she was also pushed me on with that.
How important is drawing to you?
Oh man, it is, it's really great, because I think without it, I would probably go a little bit mad. Because sometimes I just want to put, I guess, a feeling or an emotion, like a bad emotion or just a bad thought. And drawing it just kind of feels like I'm letting it go. And it's therapeutic, it really is. Other than that, I don't really do it for if people like it or not. I don't really give a shit. Can I curse? No, right?
I think so, yeah.
I don't really give a crap if they like it or not. I just do it.
How important is the drawing aspect in your photography?
It's not really important, but it really helps. Since I can draw, I guess, yeah, it helps me. But I don't like drawing it, because then I feel like, oh, I put my idea down and it looks okay. I think I'm good with that. So if I don't draw it, then I have to push myself into doing it into a photo. Like I said, I'm not really into photography, so it's okay whether or not if I use that idea in a photo or not.
I'm asking because I want to know, to you, is drawing, can that help photography?
Oh.
Like, would you recommend someone learning to draw to help?
Oh yeah, I would recommend if you can draw, do it, because then if you're collaborating with someone and you can sketch it out and execute it perfectly, then you can probably show your partner, okay, this is what I want, and it'll help them understand what you want to see or what you want to do. It's really helpful. It really is.
Who's your favorite photographer?
My favorite photographer, Nick Knight. And I can't think of I can't think of a piece of work at the top of my head. But he's done a lot of fashion photography. And I just like his style of work. It's very colorful, it's very beautiful, but it just looks so mean looking. It looks dark, but it's so beautiful. It's weird, but it looks pretty.
What about with drawing?
Drawing. That would be H.R. Geiger. H.R. Geiger?
Don't look at me. I didn't look him up.
Okay. Oh yeah, my favorite artist, drawing, painting wise, is H.R. Geiger. I honestly don't even know if that's right or wrong, but pardon me if it's not said correctly. I really looked up to his work because it's very sexual, it's very dark, and it's also very controversial because it also plays on like religion or hunting. It's like a lot of topics that he touches into his art, and I really like that because sometimes people shy away, and I feel like artists sometimes do it for the money instead of using their art to help come about problems that should be put to light. And I like that about him. He wasn't afraid. Eh.
No, it was good. How do these artists influence you
As a person or
as an artist?
As an artist, I like the fact that they influence me to not be afraid of showing my work. That a little bit weird isn't bad. It's actually pretty good because it just makes you stand out, I think. And I really like that about that. It makes me feel confident into drawing something just really strange or dark. I haven't done a collaboration with someone, so I don't know that feeling, but I have gone to just be there for someone and to take photos, and even though they're not the same genre as I am, it really gives you another view of someone else's mind. If you have the opportunity to go with someone, even though their style isn't the same as yours, you sometimes don't understand it. It's helpful to get an insight on someone else's head, and maybe you could possibly be inspired to do something else. You never know, you know? Like, it doesn't hurt to go for it. So Instagram is a blessing and a curse of some sorts. You shouldn't post your not your personal work. You shouldn't post your work that you like and you actually want an input on it. Good input. Because if you put it on your personal account, your friends are gonna say, "Oh, great contrast. I love that light." Or maybe you should work on this and this. It won't be a good critique. So you should probably make your own account for your work, and even then it takes a while to get the viewers you want to help you out. I think it'll take. I mean, I don't have my own account for my work. I don't. But what I'm guessing is that you probably have to have a lot of patience for that.
10, 15 years, not in photography, but art.
In art. Well, I would really like to start really putting an effort on either drawing or painting and photo and putting it up in a gallery. Like I miss that because I used to put work on galleries when I was in high school.
Can you describe your style?
Honestly, what I mostly do like family functions, babies, stuff like that. Like just really, I think I just capture what people want to see. I capture really happy moments.
Describe your process.
I actually get really nervous before. You know, even in the setting up process, I try to talk to everyone a little bit. I try to talk to, like, you know, I did a family function over the summer. It was like a reunion. And I went, you know, to, like, you know, the family was a little cliquey, I guess. So I went and I spoke to each one of them, like, you know, what do you want to see in the pictures? What's more important to you? Like, you know, each told me, like, you know, I really want to see the kids having a good time. Or, you know, one of them was like, you know, my parents are really old. I'd really like to get some great shots of them, you know. I guess, like, they passed. And it was like, you know, it was interesting to see what everyone wanted to see in the pictures. So, you know, I had to go around and kind of, you know, talk to the kids and see that I went and I talked to the grandparents and, you know, just kind of seeing, I wanted to see their personalities to see exactly how I would want to capture them in pictures, how everyone else would want to capture them.
Is that the same process for when you're shooting people, like modeling, or no?
No, it's mostly like, even when I did do modeling, it was just like, you know, I was like, all right, we got to pick a good spot to be at. How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want people to see you? It's like, you know, I want to give people what they want.
How do you think you differ from other people doing the same kind of pictures as you do?
I'd want to say that, honestly, sometimes I kind of become a pussy. Like, I admire you a lot because you're so experimental. You're not afraid that someone won't like your project. I'm so afraid of, like, failure, someone not liking what I do. So I think I don't always follow what I want to do. I think that's something that I'm working on now. Doing exactly what I want and being like, all right, well, if you don't like it, this was my vision anyway.
What is it from your pictures that says, oh, this is a barber photo?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say that it probably has everything you want in it. Like, you know, if you tell me, Barbs, I need this from you, I will get what you need in the picture. Like, I will get that happy sunny day picture. All my pictures are so happy.
Who would you say gives you the biggest critiques? Is it your peers? Is it yourself? Or is it a mentor that you have?
I think it's like with everyone, like, you know, you're your own worst critic. You're always going to be like, I don't know about this. Like, I think I definitely critique myself harder than anyone else. When you look at my work, I really respect it because you tell me, like, even, like, you're just like, you know, I like it, but you should have done this, and you kind of even tell me, like, you know you should have done that. So I like that, too. And, but honestly, for the most part, I think, like, my family and, like, my close friends, like, really dig all my work. They are always so supportive of everything I do.
Do you have a mentor or?
I mean, my sister really guides me through life. Like, she just tells me everything I do wrong or right. And, like, she's not afraid to call me out on my bullshit. And I definitely need that. But I really think that all my friends really guide me, like, in a positive way. Like, as much as my friends, like, yeah, we all respect each other the same, I look up to every one of them.
Is that something that you think about when you're working on a project or when you're just out shooting?
I think about my parents a lot. I think I'm like, would my mom like this? Like, would she be proud of this? Like, but I think about that with everything. Like, literally everything I do. Like, would my mom like if I did that? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Who's your favorite artist?
Honestly, this is so cliche, but I, like, worship the Humans in New York guy. I think his name is Brandon. And I love him. And, like, he just, you know, I admire him a lot because he doesn't always get that happy sunny day picture. He gets exactly how he wants the person to be captured. even if the person looks ugly, has a double chin, like I'm having a bad hair day, whatever. I'm like, I never do that. I never, if someone even close to has a double chin in my pictures, I always Photoshop it, or I'm like, oh, I need another shot. Like, even though it shouldn't be that way, that's what you look like. Like, even if you have a pimple that day, or you look kind of crazy this day, like, that's you. That's, it's beautiful in its own way.
Is that your favorite project of that artist?
Yeah, absolutely. He does the same thing every day, but it's always so different. Like, it's just like, every person's so different. And I feel like that's something that I'm trying to avoid now, making all my pictures look exactly the same.
Would you say that's how that person influences you in your work?
Absolutely. Just everything's different, and he's not afraid. That's my biggest downfall, is that I'm so afraid of someone not liking my work.
What's your favorite picture?
Of mine?
No, yes.
Okay. My sister's best friend had a baby, and his her mom is my sister's friend, and the husband he's in the National Guard, and he put his uniform around his daughter, and I just took pictures of her she was an infant and wrapped in the shirt, and she just I don't know, like, there's obviously, like, I would never say there's an ugly baby, and she wasn't, like, she's beautiful, but, like, you saw how beautiful she was in the pictures. You saw, like, everything good about her, like, and the way, like, I don't know, and she looked like, as much as her father was in the shot, you could tell her, like, she was protected by her father, without him even having to be in the picture.
How does it feel when that person that you did take that photo for doesn't cherish it as much as you thought they would? Like, let's say they didn't frame it. Let's say they didn't, show their friends about it. How does that make you feel?
You know what? I actually haven't had that experience. I've always, again, I give people exactly what they want, exactly what they ask for, because I guess I'm afraid to, like, always show my own character in the work, because as much as my picture's a sunny day, I wouldn't exactly call myself, like, a positive person. I'm definitely more of a narcissist. So I guess I just haven't had that happen to me yet.
Let's talk about Instagram for a little while.
Okay.
When you go to a photographer's page and you see that, they have a bunch of followers, and you're scrolling through and you're seeing some pictures and you're just like, wow, this person is unbelievable.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
I guess kind of that, like, man, I guess again that I admire them, that I'm just like, you know what, this person took a shot, you know what, even if I don't like that picture that much, like, I'm just like, but you know what, they're proud of it, and they put it up even if they didn't think, like, everyone was gonna like it, and it's just like, that's awesome. And I'm like, I could do this if I wanted, I could do this, but I think the thought of failure really scares me, and I don't know, I guess I'm just too worried about what people think.
Is that what's stopping you from having your own page with 1,000 followers?
Maybe I'm scared that, like, it won't be successful.
How do you see yourself in photography in 10, 15 years?
I mean, I would like to do it on the weekends as a side business, but part of me kind of is kind of like, well, maybe I could make it, like, my whole world. Maybe I could do it, because honestly, like, I do family functions and stuff. It's not like my work is very experimental at all. So it'd be kind of easy to be successful in a field that way, where, it's guaranteed work. But it's also kind of scary to think that if it would fail, what would I do? But I also think that with everything I want to do, I'm like, but what if it doesn't work out?
I graduated from high school in 2009. Unfortunately, dropped out of my first semester of college and used my student loan money to buy my first camera.
How come after high school, that's when you started?
I started photographing in high school. I did have a film class, but I had to focus on my grades. I had to focus on getting out of high school, so much that I didn't have any motivation or any inspiration to photograph. Starting to take photography seriously was something that was very, very life-changing for me. Having a way to express myself and to show others what I saw, what I see, was huge for me. I mean, I wanted nothing more than to have someone look at my photo and understand what I understand. You know, I started photographing after high school, photographing my friends. My best friend, and I kind of blame my photography on him. Not blame, or should think. My best friend was a skateboarder, and I started shooting him skateboarding with my iPhone in high school, but never took it seriously. Got my camera, started photographing him skateboarding. All of a sudden my friends got into cars. I started photographing cars, and I wanted more. I wanted more ways to, once again, show others what I see. And I looked at the photography class as a way to give myself more motivation, more inspiration, and more things to photograph. How would I describe my style of photography? It depends on the day. It depends on what I'm shooting. I tend to primarily focus on automotive photography, which is my strong point, but I also have been getting into street photography, and I absolutely love the endless possibilities of it. I mean, street photography for me means architectural photography, it means portrait photography, it means chasing harsh light, and you know, I've found so many other things besides automotive that I like to photograph because of street photography.
When you're working on a project, describe your process.
When I'm working on a project, I get kind of crazy. I end up trying to get all of my ideas out onto paper, having something to hold in my hand, and not necessarily so I won't forget, but kind of to guide me. If I'm working on ideas for a shoot, I try and list out all my possible ideas, all my different scenarios I want to shoot, and every now and then I'm even known for sketching a few out, you know, a lamppost here, a person here, this there, just to kind of help give myself the vision of the photo before I actually take the photo.
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist is a photographer, Henri Cartier-Bresson. He is a famous street photographer from France, and he really inspires me because he was the type of person that would stand on a street corner for hours, waiting for that perfect shot. And he has a quote that I try and live by. And the quote is if you live, life will give you pictures. My favorite picture from Henri Cartier-Bresson is, of course, Puddle Jumper. He is so well known for it. It's a very grainy, blurry picture of a man who looks like he's about to have the worst day in his life. He's jumping 1 foot into a puddle, and the composition that he was able to create in a split second is just, to me, amazing. So photography for me got real when I met who would I consider a mentor of mine. He's a professional photographer, and I started taking his classes at the local college, and I got, for the first time, criticism. And not criticism from my friends, not criticism from my mother, not criticism from random person I asked to take a picture of in the street, but criticism from someone who was an established photographer. And quite frankly, he was mean. He was mean, he was harsh, he was critical. And I have to say that my photography, after taking his classes, went from a hobby to something that I would one day like to be a career. All because of criticism.
What was your favorite critique that he gave you?
My favorite critique that I'll never forget is probably of all of my automotive pictures is, Andrew, what the hell is that in the background? Andrew, what is that in the background? Over and over and over again. And the reason that it's my favorite critique is because it really shaped the way that I take photos now. I'm not only looking at what I'm taking a photo of, I'm looking at the background. And sometimes for me the background is harder to capture than the actual subject. Whether it's a person, a car, or a building, or a street. You know, I look at so many different things trying to get the photo to be perfect, at least in my eyes.
I want you to talk about your favorite piece that you've done.
Sure. So, I've had the opportunity recently to capture my favorite photograph. And I say I have the opportunity because I couldn't have gotten this opportunity without my career. You know, 40 hours a week, I work at a luxury hotel as a supervisor at a front desk, basically handling all the complaints from all the guests, handling any breakdowns in equipment, handling basically every issue. And that leaves me time to photograph, but it also gives me different opportunities. I got permission to shoot on top of the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. And I took a photo looking down from the marquee from 46 to 49. And that to me was the most fulfilling moment in my photography. And a lot of people could say that, oh, Andrew, you just like that photo so much because you've never seen one from that vantage point. Andrew, you just like that photo so much because you're 48 stories up. Or Andrew, you just like that photo so much because of the way it makes other people feel. But that's not what it is. And that's one thing that I've come to realize about my photography, is that I'm selfish. And the reason I like that photo so much is because I love the feeling I got walking up on the rooftop. I love the feeling I got exploring, looking around before I even touched my camera. And I like the feeling I got when I looked over that edge and I knew the exact spot that I wanted to take that photo from before I even knew that that was the photo I wanted. And for me, it has really opened my eyes to what I want out of my photography, and has really shown me that I can get what I want. I just have to, keep at it.
You kept talking about the feeling I got. What would you describe that feeling? Like adrenaline?
Oh, the feeling you get when you're up there, when you're 48 stories up. I mean, you feel like you're the first person to ever be there. And you're not. They throw confetti off it every New Year's Eve, but when you're up there and you're walking somewhere that you've never walked before, somewhere where you never thought that you'd have the opportunity to be, it's definitely a rush. And it's definitely an adrenaline aspect, but there's also like an explorer's aspect to it. I wanted to walk around every square foot of that roof, even if there was no view for me to take a picture, just because of the feeling it gave me.
Now I want to hear your thoughts about the same thing, the Instagram. Seeing those people with those amazing profiles, what is going through your mind?
So for me, Instagram is it's a lot of things. I have to say Instagram, for one thing, is intimidating. It's definitely something that lets you know that you are not the best photographer out there. And I think that's important. I think it's important to realize that there are people to learn from, that there are people you can grow from simply clicking the green follow button and being able to see their work every day. And I think after I realized that, I was able to kind of take inspiration from Instagram. You've got so many different styles of photography in one place. There's so many opportunities to see what people capture, and then on other occasions interact with those people, whether it's at Instagram meets, whether it's out reaching out via comments or direct message. I mean, the possibilities for creatives on Instagram is endless. There's so much you can do because of that social media app.
In 10, 15 years, where would you see yourself?
In 10 to 15 years, I would see myself still in the luxury hospitality industry. It is so important to have a career, especially because out of my photography, I want something that doesn't exist. I want my photography to be art. And quite frankly, art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you don't view my photography as art, then to you it's not art, and you're not going to spend X amount of money on it. So for me, having my career as established as it is already at 23 years old, in 10 to 15 years I hope to be a higher position at this luxury hotel, taking way more pictures and hopefully instilling my artistic expressions in other people. And then if they view it as art, and if I'm able to leave the hospitality industry because of it, then great. But quite honestly, I like working a 9 to 5. Would I love to be photographing every day? Yes. Is it practical right now? No. So 10 to 15 years from now, still at a hotel, but hopefully people view my pictures more as art than they do now.
how would you describe, your style?
My style, I guess I'll base it off of how I feel or how I am. Kind of like contrast a lot, black and white, so I try to match the two together, find two opposing forces and put them together in some harmony.
Can you describe your process? Like when you want to start a project, what's your process that you go through?
I'll usually think of a word or a feeling and base it around that. I also write sometimes, so I'll get my notebook out and write the idea of the word, and from there just kind of mind map it or make a web of it, draw some more ideas, some elements to throw in, and always carry my notebook into the photo shoot, snap the pictures, edit them, and all published.
Who's been your favorite teacher so far?
My favorite teacher? I'd have to say my old high school teacher, Ronald Lake. He was a bit hard on me the first one. I guess he was trying to break the slacker in me. I always thought he was picking on me, but I realized that just made me stronger and really more disciplined in honing my craft. So I give him a lot of thanks for that.
Would you say that, he helped you figure out your kind of style?
I guess style, but I guess he made me realize more of what photography meant to me, or people in the world today, the power it has to change a person's view on a certain thing. Say you could see one thing one way, but a photographer's idea or way of doing it is showing you another different way, something that might catch your eye.
What does photography mean to you?
To me, like any kind of art form, it has the power, I believe, to change the world's mind today. As in photography, you pretty much take realism, the world around you, and you snap it kind of magically and like create a moment. You capture that moment, all the feelings into it. And it creates like this essence that's gonna linger, or I'd say more than just capturing or just snapping a picture, it captures the feeling in that moment. And like time, moment just goes on and on, like to actually have the power to capture that moment, it's really something else to me.
Is there something you think about when you're taking pictures? Like a quote or just a concept in your mind?
I guess I'd always try to think of, I guess I try to think what people wouldn't see normally, something that people would normally pass by or not think of a big deal. And instead of passing a blind eye to it, I try to focus into it and think, how can I bring this out into light? How can I make people look at it differently, more than just a regular thing, and make it become special all by itself?
I see that you enjoy shooting people. Is that something that you want to do for the rest of your life, or you're not really into shooting objects?
Well, I think the difference between objects and people, obviously people have story to tell. They've been through a lot, their life story, it really impacts me. People just interest me like that. It's like their own storybook. And when I try to shoot people, I try to get a glimpse of who they are, not just what you see on the outside, but go more into depth. Maybe capture their feeling, their personality, something you wouldn't know about them just by looking them on the street. To me, you could catch a person's soul through their eyes. I guess I try to catch that.
Can you give me a moment for you to think about your favorite piece of work that you've done? A photo or a video or anything. And then just describe it to me.
I guess the one I had in mind, I have a lot of favorite pictures, but the one that really sticks out as my most favorite and I always go to, it's not really special or anything in a way, it's just I was going to South America for travel, and on the airplane I look out and there's just a field of clouds and just a bright blue sky, and I took a picture, and anyone could have catched that picture, but to me, the way I took the picture, and it's special to me because it's one of those things where not a lot of people are given that opportunity to go above the clouds to the sky and look up what's beyond and further their horizon. For a person since young, people telling me my heads are always up in the clouds, to be able to, in a way, point of view, the clouds was the ground, and realized something was more higher than the clouds, it's like the opportunities are infinite.
Who's your favorite artist?
Favorite artist, I guess, since high school would be Annie Leibovitz. I really admired her work, from portrait to her personal daily life to celebrities and her music touring.
Does her work, his or her work, influence you?
Yeah, I say it influenced me in the way she has a way of matching her portrait with some conceptual ideas. It might seem bizarre and out there the way she poses or what she tells them to do, but in some way it mixes so well with the subject and how they want to perceive themselves.
What's your favorite piece of artwork from that person, from your favorite artist?
Most favorite. The top of my head, I don't know why I keep thinking this. The one that not might be my favorite, but the one that really made an impact on how people see photography is the portrait she caught of Miley Cyrus, or Hannah Montana, you want to say. And that time, a lot of people were like, it's her just wearing a blanket around her, kind of revealing, but to me it was very sincere, very beautiful photograph. But people, the way they see it, they saw, oh, she's half naked, she's still young. But this to me was kind of, in a way, the bigger idea was a girl shedding her celebrity life or setting her fame off her and becoming a woman that she's going to be. To me, that was more powerful than just, oh, it's Miley Cyrus. It's actually a woman.
Is that the kind of effect you want to have with your fork?
Yeah, definitely. The point of my work I try to do is to make people look twice, more than just look once and just linger on to the next one. If I could get a person to stare at one of my photos and think, what does it mean, what's behind it, why does it make me feel this way, or what does it become, then I feel like I've done my own job.
What is your stamp? What is the thing that people see when they see your photo and say, oh, that's a Danny photo?
I got a lot of that, but I still don't know to this day what exactly would be a Danny photo. Going back, they used to call me like Danny Monster. It's like, oh yes, this is monster photography. I guess going back to the monster aspect, it just wow or captured people. It was like, to me it'd be a very simple idea, but I threw an element that made it like, wow, I wouldn't think of it. It's kind of creating something beautiful and something not ugly but unusual, unknown, and mashing the two and just seeing how it becomes one together.
Are those two different people, Danny and the monster?
They used to be two different people, but I say they've become one or grown to live with each other. I guess high school was more the monster, and now it's just Daniel, but I still realize like one and one are still inside me. It's who I am.
Are you happy with that, or you wish you could switch it off sometimes?
No, definitely not. I've learned from both sides, and I'm still learning today. It's just learning from the past and maybe past mistakes and what it leads to. So I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Let's go completely 180. I want to talk to you about Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on Instagram. You've definitely have gone to stumble across somebody's page. There's beautiful photos, amazing landscapes or portraits, and you see that they have like a bunch of followers. How does that make you feel?
I realize the game of photography has changed, definitely. Instagram, like going into it, it was one of those things that turned me off. I didn't want to be any part of, just because it made the art of photography feel kind of amateur in a way, that anyone could take pictures. But going into artist page and seeing their work and like amazing all their followers, I'm like, it creates a lot of opportunity. At first, kind of jealous of it, but then I realized, no, this is the competition today, and if I want to survive in this industry, I have to become one of them, learn the craft, take up tips, and follow and do all this stuff for Instagram. So now I become a lot more open with the whole Instagram scene.
Last question. In 10-15 years, what do you see yourself doing in photography?
10-15 years. That'll be 34, 39. Wow. Hopefully I'll be the one one dream job I really have with photography is that it takes me places. So hopefully I'll be in a plane going to some erotic, abstract country, just capturing photos of the people and their culture, landscapes, pretty much capturing photos of things that people wouldn't normally see on a daily basis and bringing them to open eye. Also, interested in teaching photography, becoming a teacher, just like as my teacher inspired me. I hope, and I know, I'm pretty sure I could inspire other people.
What kind of style do you use?
I did a lot of street photography for when I first started shooting, and I think throughout the years I've stuck to that. It's the one that I feel the most comfortable with. I know I'm kind of intimidated with like portraits and stuff. So yeah, definitely street.
When you're doing a project or just a regular shoot, describe your process.
Okay, so first I try to get my ideas down, what I want to shoot, what I want to get, and then just go out in the field, shoot, get whatever I want, as many shots as I can. Then I look at them later, and see what I like, what I don't like, what it's worth editing, what's not worth editing. That's pretty much it. And then you get into like the whole editing workflow and stuff.
Which pictures get taken out? Like which pictures are you like, nah, I'm not feeling that?
Composition is a big thing for me. It's well, I try to work with the composition right when I'm shooting as opposed to in the editing process. But if it's just not balanced enough, the photo for me, it's a no-go.
When we saw your project about your dad,
Mm-hmm.
you used that green tint on a lot of the photos. Is that your style?
It's something that I looked at. I can't. I forget the name of the artist, but it was very. It had this like same kind of style, like with the green tint and all that. But it was something that I tried on for that one. It's not necessarily. I don't keep it throughout. You know, it's not my style. I wouldn't say it's my style.
Is there something that you do that's you?
In terms of color, yeah, I guess I try to go a little darker on colors. I don't like bright photos.
Who's your favorite artist?
Overall, or just photographer?
Overall.
Dali. For sure. He's fucking weird. I like the whole, like, the melting clocks and what he comes up with, the elongated limbs. It's just, I illustrate. It's something that I've been doing since I was a little kid, and that's definitely been a big part of my thinking process. I always say, what would Dali do to this? And I go along with it.
What's your favorite piece from Dali?
I think it would be the one with the elephants, but I can't quite remember the name right now. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
The elephants? The long legs of the elephants. It just looks like they're just walking along the desert. Anyone?
Thank God for technology.
Yeah, right.
What about the iPhones?
Oh, they look like giraffes, though. I think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
like elephants with big ass, like long, really long legs. It's like, I think it's like 3 elephants.
Google elephants.
Okay, I'm going.
Giraffe legs.
Dali,
Oh, I see.
Dali elephants.
It's called The Elephants.
There you
Wow.
go.
There you go, bro. Oh, okay.
That one, right?
Yes.
It's so strange. It's cool.
Exactly. That's why I like Dali. He's so strange.
Let's talk about illustration. How long have you been doing illustration?
Since I was a little kid. Actually, the first memory I can remember of illustrating is my dad sitting with me on the dining table. And he always used to make me do my homework. And you know when you're a little kid, sometimes homework is like you have to draw your parents or something. So I remember my dad drawing it, but I remember specifically that he was sketching it. Now my dad's not an artist, but I remember him trying so hard to sketch, and the whole like holding of the pencil and like the process of sketching. I don't know, I like that. And my mom also. My mom drew pictures for me when I was a little kid. And I always liked trying to imitate that. So yeah, that's why.
Are your parents a big part of any type of medium of art that you do?
Yeah, my father is definitely a big part of photography for me. Because I don't know if I could get into it, but you know about my father, his condition, missing of the limbs, but I just wanted to portray that. I want, and I still do. I wanted, and I want the people to see that if he has limitations, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna stop him. You know what I mean? And I think it's a very important message for a lot of people, especially young people, because we think that we have it so hard sometimes, and realistically, it's just a stepping stone sometimes.
Has your father seen your work?
Yeah, yes, I always show him, especially when it's about him.
What's he think?
He likes it. A lot of times, I like that he has input on it in terms of he tells me, oh, maybe you should do this to it. But sometimes I'm like, you know, when people like criticize your art and you're just like, dude, it's my art. But I take criticism. I take his criticism, and you know, it's important. It is important to me. Sometimes it like kind of pisses me off, but it's important.
During that project, when you're working with your father, were you dictating him a lot, or was he just, you know, doing his basic routine?
He's actually doing his basic routine, and at some points I would tell him just, you know, walk from here to there, and he'll try to be like, do you want me to walk a certain way? I was like, not just the way you walk usually. So I wouldn't say I dictate him too much. No, it was just letting him rock with whatever he was doing.
Is that the same thing for your other pieces of work, like when you're out in the street with your friends or something?
You know, sometimes I notice this with me personally, but let's say you come across something, or like specific columns that make a certain composition for you, but you catch it, right? And then obviously your friends are not gonna catch it, and then you go, yo, can you do me a favor? Can you just go stand there, like a little to the left, a little to the right? Yeah, that I do that sometimes. A lot of times. With friends.
Now we're gonna go completely 180.
180. Shoot it. There you go.
I'm gonna talk about Instagram. Sometimes, have you gone to somebody's page on Instagram, like an artist or something, and you just like, wow, get blown away?
For sure.
And what's that feel like?
I want to be at that point. It feels like, what did they do? What kind of hustle did they make to get all like 1,000 likes? And I know it's not about the likes, but it kind of is in a way. Just people appreciate your work more. It makes you feel a certain way, I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure same thing goes for you. But yeah, I want to be at that point. I want to be recognized, I guess.
Now, 10, 15 years, where do you see yourself with either drawing or photography?
In a utopian universe, I would like to see myself, I do see myself as an illustrator for any company. I don't really know which one, but realistically, I see myself as some type of web designer.
That's it? Web designer?
Yeah. Just like I thought you meant like job-wise.
Yeah, job-wise, but like...
Also with my art, like... Well, web designer would be like the kind of thing to maintain myself, so to make a living out of, but also, my uncle once told me, you need to have money to maintain your art. You know what I mean? He's a bartender. It's not for me, but... And then he's a producer on the side, you know what I mean? So that's what I like to do. Not a producer, but make money and then be able to keep doing my art until eventually my art pays off and I can live off of it.